Hello, and welcome to one of my C++ tutorials, where I will be recapping on the basics of arrays and going through more tasks with you. But first, please remember to click that like button on this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it far and wide. Without further ado, I'm going to go recap on arrays and a little bit on data structures, then we're going to go on to more tasks. So, from my last video, I've introduced you to data structures, so that's a collection of data items stored in memory. And the data structure we're going to be doing is arrays. Is an array. That is a data structure. So this is an array. So we're storing lots of information at the same type. So first, rather than doing 90 float variables, just do one float variable in an array. So, and that's if we want to analyze the annual rainfall over a period of 90 years, 9 decades. So rather than having 90 float variables, just have one array with the number 90 there. Arrays are good for accessing as well as storing, like we've put, and you can do that through using a for loop. And you can calculate using a for loop to work out the average based on the 90, rather than doing adding 1 plus 2 plus 3 and all the way to 90. So arrays are good because they require less typing when declaring them, initializing them, accessing or calculating with them. So we've gone through this and an example of an array. And we've gone through the first two tasks. So, in task 3, using C++, we're creating a program that stores the word hello in the different languages. So we're going to use this code, and we're going to copy that in and we're going to paste it. So the int array is constant. So we got constant, we made that the size, and we've initialized that to 12. So we're going to run the code. So as we go into the for loop, we're going to get the 4 different translations of hello. Okay? So in the program, we need to extend that so we have 12 translations of hello. Let's find them. So we need 12 translations of hello. So we need 12. So I'm going to run that. So rather than having the 4 from before, we've got 12 translations of hello. What we will need to do now, we need to create a second array that has goodbye in there. Okay? So I'm going to do new string and call that goodbye, new array 2. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do for int I is 0 while I is less than size. We're going to increment. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go into the for loop, we're going to do a cout new array 2, and we're going to pass I into that. And then just do nice \n, just up, done with it, because what that's going to do is it's going to make a new line. So if we press run, you're printing out the 12 translations of goodbye also. Okay? That's task 1 to 3 done. So that's those tasks done. Now what we need to do is we need to create a program that builds an array that contains written versions of the numbers 1 to 5. Print out a single value from the array using the notation new array 1. So we're going to have a look at this code and we're going to see what's printed out. So we're going to have a look and we're going to see what's printed out. So we've got new array being a 1. So it's outputted a 2 because that is index 1. If I wanted to print 1, I would need to type in a 0 to print out the 1. So the next part of the program is to get rid of the 1, put in a 0, press run, and the word 1 is going to be outputted, as we can see. So we've modified that one. Now we need to do the next part of the array. We can use the same notation using new array 4 equals blast off. So we need to change the word 5 to the word blast off, and we're going to use that same notation to change the countdown. So the way we would do that will be for the third array, so in the second one we got the second array size, that's outputted a 5. So that's outputted a 0. And then here we've got third array being a 0. So I'm going to click run on those. So the first going to output a 2, second's going to output a 1, and that's going to output a 4. Okay? So what we will now need is we need a for loop like we did in question 1 and 2 and 3 to print that countdown. So what we will need to have, for I int I equals 0 while I is less than the size. We're going to do I plus plus, and there we go. And what we're going to have in there is we're just going to have cout fourth array. So we're just going to see, which we can't do because we haven't actually got one. We haven't actually got one. So we need to do that one. So we could just have a string called fourth array. We could run that. So we've got 4, 3, 2, 1 blast off being outputted. And that, ladies and gentlemen, goes up to question 9. Question 10, we need to use a C++ program. So we're going to use this template to create a program that stores 3 months of the year. Why I've got 4, I don't know. We just want to store 3 months of the year in an array, and then print them out as well as the index number. So we're going to take this, and we are going to do this. So we've got the constant int, months is set to 12, and we've got the array, months past, we've got the constant months. Then we've got January, February, March, those are your first 3 months. To output the index, you would need to do cout I. And then what I've done is \t to indent, and then we've got the new array. So we're going to run it. So it's going to output January to March. Because you've got 0, that's the 1, 1 is the 2, and 2 is the 3. So what we need to do now is we need to extend this array to have 12. So we're going to do April, May. So you'll notice that what I'm doing every time is I'm doing a comma and a new quote. Then I'm doing a comma, new quote for a new month. Comma, quote. And I am doing this every single time. And the reason why, because that is how the syntax works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click run, and it's going to output all of the months of the year, not just the first 3. So in the second one, we've got all of the months of the year written there. Okay? And 11, so we've done 10 and 11. Now we need to do number 12. So we're going to create a program that allows the user to input 10 positive integer values. The program should then display the numbers in a reverse order, followed by the sum of all those numbers, with the smallest and the largest. So that takes a lot. So that sounds like a lot to do, but it actually isn't. So I'm going to go back up and show you. So, how does this work? So, we've got the constant num_val, which is 10. So that's our constant. So we need to enter 10 positive values. But if I want to enter a 0, I can't do that. If I want to do a negative number, can't do that either. -3, I can't do that either. -2, cannot do that. So if they're negative numbers, or it's a 0, cannot do it. As soon as I type in 12, I can do it. As soon as I type in 14, I can do it. 28, I can do that. 30, I can do that. 52, I can do that. 45, 25, 44, 48, 96. So, all those added will give you 394. And then the smallest number out of those is a 12. And the largest of those is a 96. So we've listed all the positive integers. To get the largest, we set the running total to 0. There you go. In I is 0, and while I is less than num_val, we're going to increment the num_val, increment the sum. And to do that, we go sum equals sum plus integer val. So we're adding each value to the running total. Hence, that's given us a sum. If I want to do the min, so I'll be integer val being a naught. So for loop, exactly the same. Difference is, if integer val is less than the min, it's going to give us the smallest. So min is going to be integer val, and therefore the minimum is outputted. If we want to find the maximum, still integer val to naught. For loop's exactly the same, but we're doing if integer val is greater than max, then a max is going to be integer val, and therefore a maximum is going to be outputted. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is number 12. So it's quite involved, but it's not too bad. Okay, next one. 13, we need to examine this code and try to work out what will be when it's executed. So we need to enter it, run it, and compare it with whatever expected. I think by doing this, it's gonna output all the months of the year and say how many days each month it has. So that's what I think is going to happen, should we choose to run it. So what I'm going to do is, guess what? I'm going to type it up. Right, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to bung that there. I'm going to bung that here. There we go. So I'm going to need to include string. Then what I'm going to do constant int months is 12. I'm going to do constant string month names, and I'm going to do months. Then I'm going to do the array, squiggly brackets, and it's going to be January, February, March. So you're doing quotes and commas every time, comma, and then quotes every single time. Yes, it's tedious, but if you want the code to work properly, then you have to put the work in. Okay? So that is that. And then we want another const int, and we want days, and we want months passed into that. And we're going to work out the days we want. When you're doing numbers, you can just do 31, 28. You don't need quotes for numbers. You only need them if you're doing strings. And there we go. Then what we want to do for int count is 0. And while count is less than months, we're going to do count plus plus. Then we're going to do squiggly brackets like we would in a for loop. And then we're going to have cout month names count. We're going to say has. And what we can do is we can just do this days count and say how many days it has. So let's run it and let's see this thing work. So I'm going to run it. So we've basically said this month has this many days. Okay? So we've done that bit. Now we need to modify our code so that the user is prompted for a value for the number of days in a month that the user should either enter 28, 30 or 31. Otherwise you're going to get an error message and another number will be requested. If a valid number is entered, then the names of the months that consist of that number of days needs to be displayed. How are we going to do that? Well, let's have a looky. So, what we could have instead so rather than having this output in the days, we're going to have entered the number of user days. So we're going to have number of user days. So I'm going to type in 32. Nope, not appropriate because I've gone over 30. I'm in 23, can't do that. But I'm going to do 28. February, that's fine. I'm going to enter another one, 30. These are the months of the year. But what we can do as well, to make it like a list, we could do an end line. So I'm going to try 30 again. And it's given us a list of all the months. So April, June, September, November. I'm going to enter 31. Boom! Those are the months. So we have essentially done the whole program. So we've met all satisfied all the requirements we need for this programming task. Okay? And that is all of the arrays tasks I have in this sheet, in this programming tutorial sheet that I have made for my students, current and future students. Other than that, there is more out there. If I was to do more out there, these videos would be far too long to do. So if you've enjoyed my video, please remember to click that like button on this video, subscribe to my channel, share this channel and this video as far and wide as you can. I look forward to making a next video for you very soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye for now.